All right, sir. I believe we are now live.
We're live. We're back. All right. Well, we are back for another run of Celebrating Autographs, the return of Celebrating Autographs here at the Virtual Cantina Network. We're going to start things off this month, this run to London to Celebration Europe 2023 with a look back to Anaheim before we get into our planning for April. Thank you all for joining. I want to first thank Dave, who's producing the show with us, as he always does. He always does a fantastic job. Dave, thanks for all you do. And how are you doing?
I am doing well. I am looking forward to a very thorough wrap up from what I've seen of the slide deck and everything you have prepared for us this evening.
I've done very little look back to Anaheim. The first, really, it took a good 6 months for me to really look back at that time when we did so on the Star Wars Autograph News podcast a few weeks ago, just because of some personal things that happened, there and afterwards that had a pretty big impact on my life. But it's time now that we look back and into what was of my 7 celebrations, not even close to my favorite celebration that I've been to so far. Dave, a big part of that was getting to meet in person for the first time many of the names, the faces behind the scenes at Virtual Cantina and the celebration group. People that I had, spoke to many, many times and got to know online, but it wasn't until Anaheim that I got to meet in person. And that was fantastic. And that really started with getting to know people starting off at Disneyland at Galaxy's Edge and getting to know a lot of the, not just, our moderators in the group, but also fans, people that I've gotten to know who are members of the group. And that really started things off right. And of course, it just continued all the way through celebration. And like I said, my favorite celebration so far.
Perfect. Are you ready for your slide deck, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All righty.
Is that the first slide?
That is the first slide of that.
That's the first slide. All right. Well, let's get right into it. Let's go to the next one. Let's keep moving. We got a lot to cover. So people know I am one of the admins for the celebration group, but back in 2011, I started Star Wars Autograph News. And this is a website and podcast that helps people add autographs to their collections. It's really for people who express their fandom through autograph collecting. And just resources. We have the website, of course, our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and all that, but also resources. Find a signer. If wherever you are, there's a section that you can look up and see where the actors and behind the scenes people and authors and artists and everybody else that has anything to do with Star Wars, where they're going to be signing in your, maybe in your area, and maybe you're in a part of the country or the world where you didn't even know that Star Wars actors were coming, to your neighborhood, which is kind of how I got started. So it's a great resource. We'll be adding a lot more to it in the coming months. And also reputable places. That's the biggest thing with autographs. Where can I buy? Where can I find autographs? Where is it safe to spend my money? Pretty much if it's on the website, I have either spent my own money there or it's, close friends or good names of the community. So a lot of resources there so you can get those autographs. Of course, there's really nothing better than getting autographs than at Celebration. But, if they're every year, every 2 years, that's a lot of time in between that we still need to get our autograph fixed. And we have a lot of great resources for you there. That's Star Wars Autograph News. So please check us out, join our social media accounts, and check out the podcast. All right. I'm going to start the show off with a huge thank you to everyone who came out to Boonta Eve 3. at Biggs Fulton in for Anaheim. Of course, Bunta Eve is the now traditional way for us for many fans to start their celebration experience with our event through the celebration group and virtual cantina. We had just from all accounts, from the people that attended, had a great time. Thank you for being part of it. Those of you who were there and were able to get some good autographs and hear some great talented singers do their karaoke thing too. And we have a picture of Scooby and his family with Sam Aline, who this was her first signing. She ended up signing at Celebration a couple days later, but right now, you're right there. You're looking at her first ever signing, and she was, she's credited as the first female stormtrooper, and she's had tons of parts in the sequel trilogy and now in the Disney Plus films, and she's become a great friend of what we do with the celebration group and virtual cantina. So, thank you all who came out and said hi or were able to get some nice autographs for your collections, and I'm glad everybody had a good time. So I was able to get 2 autographs that night. That was only 2. And they're both from Craig Miller. So Craig Miller's he had his book there to sign. So I got a nice sign. I love signed books. This is how I'm getting a lot of the older folks from Star Wars, that it's probably out of my price range to get an Alec Guinness on a Star Wars piece. You're not going to get that for, that's going to be thousands of dollars. But you can get him on a signed book. He wrote several books and he signed them. And I've been getting a lot of good signatures that way with Alec Guinness and Peter Cushing, a much more affordable. Even Carrie Fisher. You can usually get a signed Carrie Fisher book for about $300, where her autograph, since her passing is on a Star Wars shot, is much more than that. And then you get the book as well, which is nice. So Craig, this is a fantastic book. If you had a chance to get it at Bunta Eve or during celebration, it's a treat. And so I'm glad a lot of people were able to get this book and get it signed. Just a great story from Star Wars. So, and then I think next night I also got a signed 8x10 from him that he had. And I do love my 8x10s. I apologize about the graphics I had this big fancy layout through PowerPoint that just didn't quite work when we realized about 10 minutes before we went live that it was kind of it didn't translate well. So again, my apologies for some sloppy PowerPoint work this month. I will work on it for next month. So that was my other autographs. That was it. I know a lot of people got a lot of great autographs at Bunta Eve. I just got the 2. So and it wasn't because I didn't want more. That was all I was able to manage. Because when you're working the show, it's a lot different than when you're an attendee, and that's what it's supposed to be. We're there to put on a good show, not for personal gain and to get autographs. So I'm very happy that I was able to get a couple from Craig that night, and again that people had a good time and really enjoyed themselves at the show. And we're taking the show to London. So Bunta Eve 4 is going to be in London at the Breakfast Club. Tickets already sold out. I think we had 250 tickets sold out in like a day, maybe 2 days tops, gone. So thank you for that. Just overwhelming show of support for what we're doing. There's a lot of people working behind the scenes to make Bunta Eve and all the programming that you see at the Cantina Network and the moderators, the people that are checking your posts, making sure that the content's good and safe and healthy and good conversation. So many people behind the scenes, and to see this show sell out so quickly, it's just the people behind the scenes appreciate that so much. It's a show that they're doing something that people are enjoying, and we're getting people contacting us every day. How can we get in? And we sold out quick. So thank you for that. It's going to be a great time. I haven't even decided to announce the guests yet that are going to be signing there for you. Some guests will be that they won't be signing, just like at Bunta in Anaheim. But we'll have judges. We're going to have signers. It's going to be a great time, and I just can't wait. So thank you all. Thank you all who got your tickets early. I'm glad you did. All right. So like like we said, we're going to take a look back at Anaheim. One, because like I said, I haven't had a really, I've only had just that one conversation on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and it's still early to start talking about London because we don't have any details. There's nothing to talk about yet, other than it's going to be at London. It's going to be at the Excel Center where it's been before, and so let's put Anaheim to bed. Let's give it a good walkthrough. Look at some of the autographs I was able to pick up, and I hope you guys brought your questions. Dave, are you in a position that you're going to be able to see questions like you usually are able to? And
Yes, I am monitoring questions as we speak. Right now, it's a lot of "Hey Frank, how's it going? Welcome back. Glad to see you," that sort of thing. But
well,
as things come up that are relevant, I will let you know.
fantastic. So if you see a question that looks like it just can't wait, just let me know, and we can definitely get to it. So let's look back at Anaheim 2022. Like I said, my favorite celebration. This is an autograph collecting show, right? I own Star Wars Autograph News, but when I say it's my favorite celebration, I never judge a celebration just on Autograph Hall. Never have, never will. I have the autographs that I want to get, but if I spend all my time at Autograph Hall, I'm wasting money, I'm wasting time. I see my friends, I got my autographs, but there's so much more to see at Celebration than just Autograph Hall, and so many more other ways to get autographs than just Autograph Hall. This first panel, the Lucasfilm Showcase panel, this kicked off Celebration. If you were there, wherever you watched it, I was in the main room. If you saw it in a satellite, if you saw it online, this is how you start a celebration, and this is how it should always start at this level. It was fantastic. Of course, this was a unique celebration. We were celebrating something in real time, which is the first time in the history of Celebration that we had a release of a property at Celebration. Remember, it's called Celebration because it was celebrating the release of the prequels, but it was before each film came out. We had Obi-Wan Kenobi drop at Celebration, and that brought this show to a level that's why, another reason why it was one of my favorites. And it started with this panel. We hoped, they changed the start date to Obi-Wan Kenobi. It must have something to do with Celebration. They're going to be doing something special, right? We hope. And they did. Started off with Obi-Wan Kenobi. So those of you, if you're a Star Wars Autograph News fan, if you've been with me for a while, you know Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite character. And to have Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show to start this panel off with Obi-Wan Kenobi, knowing it's dropping there, I'm already way up here when it comes to my excitement level, how thrilled I am. And of course, that Ewan McGregor is signing autographs and taking pictures with us. I am on cloud nine. We have the Obi-Wan Kenobi panel. We have the Lucasfilm Showcase panel. We have Obi-Wan. Look who's there. We have the cast is there. Everyone's there. I'm just stoked, and because I know this is Thursday. On Friday, I'm getting his autograph and I'm getting a photo op with him. So it's like and then the show starts. I know the show is supposed to kick off on Friday night. I am thrilled. So we have this. They tell us at this panel, for those of us who are in the main room, we had a gold bracelet on. And during this panel, they say, and this is the first thing in the panel, oh, that is your ticket to get back in here tonight for the premiere. You're going to see the first 2 episodes right here with the cast a day early. Boom. It just doesn't get any better than that for me. So we had, let's see, what else we had? There was so much else. So now I'm looking for the celebration, but now I had no plans for that night. How am I going to get to watch the first episode of, the first, what did they drop? The first 2 episodes? Oh, I don't have to worry about that now because I'm going to watch it in this auditorium at the premiere, the red carpet premiere. Unbelievable. It so blows my mind that Kenobi has come and gone, and now Andor has come and gone. And I loved the show. My enjoyment, I can't collect autographs from every bit of Star Wars that I love anymore. There was a time when you could collect, you could be, we call it in the hobby, we call it completist, right? A lot of you know what this is. You want everybody. If they were associated with the film, if they swept the floors of the stage afterwards when everybody left, they emptied the garbage, whatever it was, if they were associated with the making of this film, you got them. That was when autographs were free, when they were $5, £5. It's tough to do that anymore. So I have to really love a property to go all out and collect. And Andor did that for me. Needless to say, Kenobi did too. Andor, I am absolutely collecting autographs from Andor. And I loved it. Can't wait for next season. Mandalorian, they talked about the Mandalorian. We have that coming up in a couple months. Dave, do you know when is that? Is that going to be in March, that season?
I believe scheduled drop is March the 1st.
Fantastic. So Mandalorian, what else? What's next? What else did they talk about? It was like boom, 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 boom. Excuse me. If you saw this panel, Jon Favreau joked, he's like, I wish we could bring everybody up to the volume and show everybody what we're doing with the filming of this show. But we can't bring you all to the volume, so we brought the volume here. And they had they surprised us with this entire museum quality exhibit of the Mandalorian with props and costumes and everything else. And I have some great experience of that I got to go, I think, Saturday afternoon. And I had some pictures we'll show you at the end from that. Just absolutely, again, everything they brought out just added to the excitement and just pumped the show up so much. Let's see I didn't even bring up Willow, which is, I think this is the last week of Willow, maybe. I've enjoyed that. We get Obi-Wan, John Williams coming back again. Like he was there for the year of the 40th Star Wars panel when they did that celebration, and he was there, and that was a surprise. He came out. They had the orchestra behind that big red curtain, and they pulled it aside, and there was John Williams. And I never thought I'd see him at another celebration, but there he was, not just doing Star Wars, but finally we get a theme for Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan never had his own theme song, theme music, and now he does. And that was just thrilling to see John Williams. And then, of course, while John Williams is still up, Harrison Ford comes out, which is him a happy birthday. We get that look of Indiana Jones, that film that's coming out. Was that the 5th one? Can't wait. So just, that's the way you start a celebration. That's going to carry with you an autograph haul, and every step that you take, that level of excitement is going to carry through. And it carried me straight through till Sunday. Just this panel. And again, this is already knowing that Ewan McGregor, I have a photo op and 3 autographs with him. I wasn't expecting to be more excited, right? But that panel did it. And we had the premiere that night. Came back at, I think, 5:30 at night. We had the premiere. They had the red carpet. They had costumes, and they gave us popcorn and water, just like a real red carpet. And I got to see the episode. 2 episodes. And I put this picture in because I was talking to somebody who said, "Oh, Vivian, she couldn't have been at the event." And I was like, "I don't know. I think she was." And I took a picture of her, so she was, because what a surprise that she was Princess Leia. They did the fake with Luke Skywalker. We knew that Luke was in it, and what a great surprise to have her in such an amazing role, Vivian, as a young Princess Leia, a young Carrie Fisher. And I haven't talked to anybody that didn't think she was just wonderful, delightful, and perfect. Anyway, all right. So I had to get that hype out because it absolutely had me just, like I said, just supercharged for autographs and everything else that came for the celebration. So again, for some of you know this, I had tickets. So Ewan McGregor's first show was supposed to be 12 miles from where I'm sitting right now. Ace Comic Con in Boston. I think it was 2020, March 2020. Like minutes before, after like COVID hit, shows canceled. Doesn't come. Well, all right. So too good to be true. He's not coming to Boston, but he's going to San Antonio. He's going to do a show there, and I love Texas. I'll go down to Texas. Canceled a couple days before that show. So it's not just that my favorite character is going to be at the celebration, his celebration debut, but I had tickets to see him twice. That did not happen. So that really that added a whole other level, knowing that now I know that he's actually there because we saw him at that panel and at the premiere. He's here. He's in Anaheim. I think this is going to happen, right? So here we are now at Friday, and this is Terry and her husband. So while I'm waiting for the photo up, because I got the photo up first with Ewan, and it's like, no matter what, this is going to be fantastic. But we weren't out of the woods, and we're not out of the woods with COVID. Is it going to be a plastic divider between me and Ewan? Which I wanted it. I don't. It's fine. Certainly, my preference would have been no divider. So I saw them walking by. I said, they showed me the pictures, like, no divider, no plastic, fantastic. I think I was almost up to the line, and then here's mine. Love it, love it, love it. And so I got that, and if you see me smiling now, just to actually, it, as an actor, I think he's a fantastic actor. I like him in a lot of the things he's done. He's Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? And this is just a great moment for me right there. Oh, love it. I had to find this picture. I didn't even have, I used it like once, and then I had to actually find it again so I could put it in the slideshow. All right, next. All right, my happy place, Autograph Hall. So let's take a look at the autographs I was able to get in Autograph Hall. And I hope that we get to, people are able to comment about some of their favorite autographs that they picked up, whether it's Autograph Hall or not. So let's see. So we'll start off with the three Ewan autographs. So the first, again, apologies for just the awful PowerPoint layout, but I wanted a shot with him from Revenge of the Sith. And this was the Revenge of the Sith is a tough film. The Mustafar scenes, it's tough with the CGI, with the red, with the darkness. Not great. There never has been great photo choices from Revenge of the Sith from the Battle of Mustafar. But I was happy with this one. And so I picked this one. I love the moment in the film. I like the shot. I like the lightsabers in it. And so all these things go into my consideration on picking a good shot for an autograph. I'd rather have a shot like this where I'm either getting 3/4 of the body or the full body than a close-up on a face. That's just my preference. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. It is 100% what do you enjoy, what's going to make you happy. And this one made me happy. So then I knew I had to get something from the Kenobi TV show. So the next one is that magazine cover from the Empire magazine, I believe. I was glad they had this shot. Another nice one. And then so these are both 8x10s. I collect almost all 8x10s when it comes to photos, but I do have some 11x14s. And the next one is 11x14. And this is one that a friend of mine gave me that I liked. It was the textless version of a poster. And I love the shot, and I got that one signed. So those are my 3 Ewan autographs and the photo op. I'm just a happy person at this point, a happy Star Wars fan. So now I have to remember what else I got. So I'm not going to remember until they come up on on the slides. So who's next? Billy Lord. Not a huge role in the film, but of course she's part of Star Wars royalty. She's Carrie Fisher's daughter, and this was the only shot that I wanted. And I wanted it because of this, not from the film. I always want to. I prefer my shots to be from the film, even if they're behind the scenes. I want to be filming. Excuse me, a shot of them actually filming. But this was perfect for me. I loved it. This is one of my favorite autographs. Um, you know, there's a lot of us that we'd see a shot like this and we would never want to get it because you can never get Carrie to sign it. But that's part of why I like this one and part of why I love this one. I'm never going to be able to get her to sign it. And it's a moment of her and her daughter. It's much more than just Billy Lord as is it Lieutenant Connix or whatever her role is in Princess Leia. It's a mother and daughter. It's so much deeper than that. And this is why I was so glad they had this available. And I almost missed out on this autograph. A friend of mine had helped me out with it. So thank you to him. Katie O'Brien, no, Mandalorian is a show that I love, and I am going for the as many autographs as I can from it when I'm collecting. So Katie O'Brien, small role, but she was there and she was fantastic. Great to meet her and get her autograph. And I think some of us, a lot of us, when we're researching autographs, we're looking at IMDb and we look at her background. She had a lot of like martial arts and fighting background. And so you kind of think, well, why would they have her in a role they weren't going to utilize that skill set? So I still think we're going to see more from her than we have so far. All right, Matt Lanta. I have a lot of him from the Clone Wars. My favorite from the Clone Wars is a shot of him with from the motorcycle when he has the Vader head above him and he's kind of screaming. I was so glad they had that shot, and I think in Chicago. If not, it was one of the Orlando shows, but I think it was Chicago. And one of my favorite autographs. I love that we got to see his face. I love that he was in The Mandalorian, and even though he was pricey, remember we looked at the prices leading up to the show and celebrating autographs, and he's a pricey one. He was, I think, $100 at least, if not more. But I wanted this shot. It was a great episode too because I had one of Bill Burr's episodes from Boston. So it's what I had wanted for a long time. Kelly Marie Tran. I had a tough time picking a photo that really spoke to me. That was like, this is the one I want. Kind of going with this one. I like the expression on her face and that and the signing space on it. Signing space on a photo is an outfit like Official Pictures is going to make sure when they choose images, it's going to have signing space available. But that's a consideration also for every autograph that I have is where can they put their signature that I'm not gonna that I'm going to be able to enjoy the signature and the image. So this is the one I went with. And Rupert Friend. So it was great that he was there. Had a good line of celebration. He ended up coming to Rhode Island Comic Con, had no line like at all the whole weekend. I was surprised. But he was a great addition to Celebration. I'm glad he was there. That was a great, actually, a great, considering he was one of the lead villains in Kenobi. To have him there was great. So glad I got to, when you look at the show, if it's just those episodes, if that's all we get of Kenobi, to get, Ewan and Rupert Friend in one show, you've already knocked out a good part of that show. They're huge. So Tem Morrison, this is the first of two Tems that I got. So this one was from Book of Boba Fett, and then I think the next one is from this is from The Mandalorian, and this one's from Book of Boba Fett. All right, heading backwards. So I figured he doesn't do a lot of shows. He's had to cancel some shows. He's done some other, movies, and he's one of those things. Even though he's a bit older, he's more on the rise. And I said, let's get these two. Let's get one from Book of Boba Fett, one from Mandalorian, and just call it a day. So that was why I have a couple of him as Django. But this was one of those opportunities when you weigh everything. Like, he doesn't do a lot of shows. Am I going to get another chance? And that's why I got these two autographs. This is another one. Bad Batch, and I have no idea how many D. Baker autographs I have. It's probably 15 at this point from all the different clones he's done. But that he and Michelle Ang were both there, and really you have a Bad Batch print, and this is 11x14. You get the two of them, and there's a hologram of Sidious there, but you very much had the opportunity to get pretty much a cast piece with just those two names. And so I debated, and I ended up getting it. Not thrilled with the pen, how the pen came out with Michelle. It wasn't great. These came out fantastic. Just not a great pen. It'd be a nice signature, but the pen itself wasn't a good pen. So that kind of can affect the signature, of course. But D and Michelle. All right, so this is the first year that they did after hours. They had the after hours event. I know there was one. I went 2 of the nights, and one night, the night that Ashley was there, the line was so long, and she wasn't what I needed to get. But I think there were a lot of people that were in line for Ashley, didn't realize it. They thought that they had to stand in Ashley's line when they had to stand in that line to get in, when it was actually just for Ashley. So if you weren't getting Ashley, I think you were able to go around. I was able to get a few autographs. Matt Wood. So the logo for Star Wars Autograph News is General Grievous, and it's because of that line. So I had an artist named Kevin Lyle who designed my logo, and known him for a long time. And we were designing it. He said, Frank, you've been doing, you're old school. You should have like a old school bounty hunter, because collecting the autographs, Greedo or somebody. I said, you know what? No, I got to tie it into. I need to find a line of dialogue that I can tie into it. It took me less than 5 seconds to do. Your lightsabers will make a fine addition to my collection. And so Grievous became the logo. So I've had a good relationship with Matt for a long time, and I wanted to get at least one autograph from him. End up getting from the Book of Boba Fett. Don B's, and I'm sure I mentioned this on the lead up to Anaheim, somebody I have wanted to get. I do have a couple of his autographs, but I wanted to meet him. I've heard nothing but great things about him. Just a great guy, humble and nice. And so I was thrilled to get to meet him and get the shot, because I know he is especially proud of the work he's done on the droids. And I already had the shot of him with the mustache and the Boba Fett helmet off from special edition of Return of the Jedi. So you kind of have to have that one, but this one I was very happy to get as well. I think there's one more from the after hours. Yep, another Mandalorian, W. Earl Brown. Again, I would have got anybody that was in the Mandalorian, I would have picked up. So that was why he made the list, because it was the Mandalorian. Not doing the same for Book of Boba Fett, even though I do have, I guess I got Tem, and I think I have Ming-Na Wen on a Book of Boba Fett shot, but it just didn't have the same. I liked the show, but love the Mandalorian, love Andor, love Kenobi. Book of Boba Fett I like. So that, when it comes down to making budget choices about what autographs to get, there is a difference between love and like. And I just don't automatically buy every autograph that I can. Excuse me. I'm out of practice. Can you tell I'm coughing? I haven't done enough shows. I remember doing the podcast. I'm losing my voice.
So
Um,
Spencer has a question really quickly. He said,
sure.
other than Ewan, what was your favorite autograph that you acquired at Celebration?
I don't know. I'll think about it because we still have some more to go through. So I'll see
Okay.
what else, if there's any others that from outside autograph hall that might have been as good. Nothing's going to be this, like you said, nothing's going to be the same as the level of Ewan, but I think maybe there were a couple others that I got outside of autograph hall that I really liked. So Artist Alley got a couple. I got a couple from Artist Alley. I put a picture of Christian because we've had him on as a guest on the show in the past for Virtual Cantina Network. And so what did I get? I think the first one should be Malcolm Tween. Yeah, Malcolm Tween, Gentleman Wastes, sold out print. I got this one myself and a friend of mine, Rich. I got him a print as well. Only because it's Obi-Wan Kenobi and I do artwork or anything I can get for Obi-Wan. I do collect that, not just autographs, but pretty much artwork, anything I can. Not as much now, but certainly when Celebration was here, I was thrilled to get that shot and see Obi-Wan doing something we didn't see in the films, but you can certainly imagine. So love that print. And then I got a little, so Karen Hallion was signing, if you can see in this picture, this little orange card that she's signing, that she was signing those for free. So, prints were 50, 60 and up, but this fantastic print called Aspire that she had, again, it was a small card of, with Ashley on it. I just thought it was beautiful. I loved it. And and it was free. It was I would have paid for it. So I think those are the only two autographs that I got in autograph hall. I mean, at Artist Alley. I loved the Kenobi comics, and I collected every single variant cover that was available. And I saw going into Celebration that Unknown Comics had David Nakayama signed copies. So this is actually the first autograph I got at Celebration. This was my first stop Thursday morning, and grabbed this one. So I was really happy to get this one. Especially this might be one of my favorites outside of Ewan. It's just unique, and I love getting variant comics signed. So this is definitely up there as one of my favorites for sure. Author signings as well. So up in the Celebration store, so here we have Cole, we have Jason Fry, two people I've known for a very long time, good friends. Is that Clayton and Amy, I think. So there were signings up in the Celebration store. You had to wear your mask. They all wore masks up there. And there were some nice signings. There's always great author signings. And then the next day, I think we had a signing with some of them down in the exhibit hall, which is the next slide. There's Jason and that's Clayton and Cole Horton. So the signing of those posters. I did get one of those posters signed. It's a great poster, but it got beat up. It did not make it safely back to Boston. So is what it just it didn't feel well. So unfortunately, that poster was, I don't even know if I kept it. It was pretty well damaged. But it was a nice one, and hopefully some of you were able to pick up some signed posters and some artwork or autographs outside of Autograph Hall too. Again, there's some great opportunities. All right, so that was it for autographs pretty much. I think that was all I got. Were people sharing what they
Very few people are talking about going to the after hours event and getting a Matthew Wood.
nice.
That's Joanna saying that, and Terry's talking about also getting Rupert Friend's autograph and how he was so nice and accommodating there.
Is that the Terry that I had the picture of?
Yes.
Oh, hi Terry, and hi Joanna.
Believe so. And you've got a few more like autographs so showing here, I think Steve Sansweet is up on the deck at the
Yeah.
moment.
So there were signings up. Steve had some. So Steve did some signings. I didn't need anything else from him. I did buy a ton of merchandise from him, and then came home and became a member of Rancho Obi-Wan, which I'm embarrassed to say I hadn't done before. But I got T-shirt and a couple mug, and I'm looking at it now on my I have an Obi-Wan shelf that I'm looking at. Some great things. So he did signs. Craig Miller, I think Craig did some signings up there too. Yeah, there's Craig. He did a signing that's an envelope for Graham Miles. That he's been my longtime co-host on the Star Wars Autograph News podcast since we launched in 2013, and that's an envelope for him. That Graham bought some things from him, and Craig had him at his hotel room, and I went up to get it from him from at the Rancho Obi-Wan. That Rancho Obi-Wan is just, it's not celebration without it. For me, that's one of the traditions. It's like Boonta Eve is a tradition. Rancho Obi-Wan, if he's there, I'm there. I have to see. And this year they had a very special, it was just that much more special for me, because I think it's this next slide, a tribute to Bullock.
And Jeff was saying that Nick Maley was up in Rancho Obi-Wan booth as well.
Oh, Nick was? Oh, cool. I totally missed Nick. I remember he was doing signings. I didn't catch up with him this time. This tribute to Jerry Bullock, those of you who've been collecting autographs for a long time, whether it's Celebration or your local shows, and you got to meet Jeremy standing on the our side of the table, reaching back and signing for us and talking to us and giving, almost kind of like that Ashley Eckstein. He talked to everybody. Him and his wife Maureen were always. He was for a long time, decades. He was doing shows just about every weekend, meeting fans, signing. And I was thrilled that a big part of this, what you're looking at, it's a lot of signed memorabilia, that things that Jeremy signed. So it wasn't just because the whole theme of this year for Rancho Obi-Wan was Mandalorian, the Mandalorian race, so the Mandalorian costume. So of course Jeremy was instrumental in that. And but for me as an autograph collector and meeting Jeremy so many times, to see all these signed pieces was just, and this was the last thing you saw pretty much before you were kind of walking out of the exhibit. It really hit me. It was very emotional to see, and they just did a fantastic job with it. So great job.
Andrew Sundberg is saying that Angus McGinnis was his favorite. It's nice to finally meet a Y-Wing pilot.
Oh, yeah, Angus is great. Yeah. Yep. He needs to do more shows. I told him that. I was like, you need to get out there. Start doing some more. Yeah, Angus. Yeah, not. Was it just him? No, Jack Claff. Was he a Y-Wing or an X-Wing? Bannon. I can't remember. But yeah, Angus is great. And then they used him in. They used Angus in Rogue One. Some of his old scenes.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it again. The Mandalorian experience. Did people go to the Mandalorian experience? Did you get a chance to see this? Because this was just insane. It was the whole. They had the show in this whole museum. Everything. I just popped out a few pictures because it was such a great experience. The Mandalorian experience was great. Loved it. I bought the t-shirt. It was so good. They had live, it had how do you say it? Full size. This was a cockpit of the Mandalorian, of the ship that blew up, the Razor Crest. There's the model of it. You just want to grab them. You just want to take it home with you, right? It was what you're looking at is like, this is what they used. This was in the show. It was an actual museum. And who else? I think we have the other ship that he.
And those of you who are, the PowerPoint where it's a little bit cut off here on the Facebook Live, if you get a chance later to switch over on the YouTube on the Virtual Cantina Network, it shows up a little bit better over there. So it's one of those funny computer things.
Nice. So here's again a model of the Naboo fighter, and then an actual full size Naboo fighter. It was right there. And then you can't see it, but there's a bubble, the Baby Yoda's bubble. When you walk by, he would follow you. Like somebody, I don't know if somebody was controlling how it was working with a motion sensor, somebody was controlling it, but he would look at you and wave. And it was just amazing. And just costumes, and IG-11 was there, and just overwhelming in the best of ways. And it was so special. And one of those things, we hoped that they were going to blow our minds. We hoped they were going to do something special, and they did. And there's two of Misty's characters. We know Misty's been a great friend to the Retro Cantina network, and there's Frog Lady and how do you say it's Kuhl? I forget his name. Yep. And there and Ahsoka, we had some special guests that just happened to be there while my friend and I were walking around. And I think they said on the next slide. Oh, they're gone. Oh no. All right, go back. We're not ready for that one yet. I must have missed the slides. So while we're there, Lateef Crowder, Brendan Wayne, and Jon Favreau came and visited the museum while we were there. John signed some autographs I saw, not for me, but I saw some lucky fans getting autographs from him. Lateef was there, and Brendan Wayne. So they walked around and took pictures with fans, and it was just it was already amazing. But then Jon Favreau walks in and just takes it to that other level. So Spencer asked me what was my favorite autograph from Celebration. It's not always an easy question, because Ewan was, my favorite was Ewan. I don't know that I have another favorite. Ewan was. I've waited for a long time to get those.
Powerful, amazing, humbling.
Yeah. So to be honest, like I said, I don't judge a Celebration solely by autograph haul. I want a variety. I have a lot of these autographs. I want variety, and I judge on the autographs other people can get. And like in Chicago, the 59 sign there's something for everybody there, right? Where was I going? So for me, for this one, after Ewan was announced, he could have been the only one there. I would have still enjoyed it just as much because that's how much I wanted his autograph and to meet him. So it's not for me to say, I got other autographs and I had a great time and added to my collection, but it was Ewan, and it was Kenobi. It was a whole experience of getting to meet him, go to the premiere. I got to see him on the live stage. A friend of mine who works there said, "Hey, go down to the live stage right now. Ewan and Hayden are going." So I got down there. I was able to get towards the front and see them. So it was, and to be able to share that experience with all the other fans was just, that's what Celebration's about. But my favorite moment, and probably my favorite moment, which you guys just saw, this was my favorite moment. So there's a family here in Massachusetts. I talk about them often on my podcast. I see them often. I just call them the family. And that's how my listeners know them. And this is Cam. So I got to spend a lot of time with them at the Celebration, which made it very special. And this piano was in the hallway between the press room, the press lounge, and the store. It was just a piano. And Cam went up and started playing the theme for Star Wars. Cam is somebody with a disability, with autism spectrum disorder, and just no fear. Just went up and he played amazing, and gave me chills. And just one of those things. I'm so lucky. I'm so fortunate to be here right now to see this, and so proud of him. And that he did something, one, I don't have the skill to do it, but I don't know that I would have the guts to do it in such a, with so many people around, but he did it. And I'm just so proud and just I'm glad I got a couple pictures, and this was my favorite moment. So, and there's the family. So there's Gene, Rob, and Cam, and Jace. Jace is Jace is a big autograph collector. So I met this family. So they're from Massachusetts, but I see them around the world more than I see them in Massachusetts. And I was impressed the first time I met them. We were at a tiny signing in Massachusetts for Jerome Blake. If you know Jerome Blake, he had like 7, 8 different roles in the prequels. And they came and they got a couple things signed, and they said, "Oh, you play these characters too? All right, we'll be back." They went to a toy store, found other things we have to sign, and came back from to sign them. I was like, these are my people. And they just happened to be just the nicest people in the world. So the celebration's about, sharing the shared experience, getting autographs and sharing the experience and taking in everything and being able to look at the person next to you, whether you know them or not, and just know that you're experiencing something so special. And because if you're there, you're a fan. And we know this, because we see it in the group. So there isn't the drama. There isn't the negativity that you hear about and blah, blah, blah in the news or in social media, whatever. Because if you spent the money to do celebration, you love Star Wars, right? You don't spend that kind of money because, it's all right. So you're there with 30, 40, 50,000 other people who love Star Wars just as much, if not more than you do. And this family is a great example of that. It reminds me what I love about Star Wars and what I love about celebration. This picture was at the closing ceremony. So really, for panels, I went to the opening panel, the Lucasfilm showcase, and then I went to the closing ceremony, and that was it. Those are the only 2 panels I got to do, but I didn't miss out. I had a great time. And so, it's always nice to see the recap of everything that happened. But of course, what are we all waiting for? Where is the next celebration going to be? And of course, we know that in just 89 days from tonight, that doing it all again in April. And when we heard this in Anaheim, like, that's less than a year. Like, this is, we're going to do this all again. We got to stop playing it now. And that was exciting and scary and everything else. But I love that celebration is in London. Star Wars, even though, we see Carrie and Mark and Harrison are American actors. George is American, George Lucas. Star Wars, other than that, Star Wars is a UK entity. It's part of the DNA, it's part of the fabric. It was filmed there in Elstree using actors and background artists and people from the UK. Whenever celebration is in London, this is going to be the 3rd one, that's special. It's never going to be the same size as a US celebration. Our celebrations here are always going to be bigger, but there's something very special about having a celebration in London because of, again, London is part of the DNA of Star Wars. Now, it's been filmed in Guatemala and in California and Death Valley and everywhere else in the world, but London has a very special place in the history of Star Wars from the very beginning. So if you're going to London, make the most of it, right? Because if I went to celebration, that's all I did were the 4 days, the 3 days or the 5 days, like in Chicago, and only did celebration, I'm missing out. I'm not doing everything I should be doing. You're going to have filming locations. There's a filming location for Rogue One. It's going to be right around the corner from where Boot Eve is going to be, at Canary Row. You'll know it, the scene from Rogue One, very identifiable, and a lot of scenes from Andor all over the place. Yeah, they use like just businesses, and I think they just want people to lunch breaks and filmed over there. It looks like there's so much to see of Star Wars and in London, so it's fantastic. I hope people make the most of it. And so next slide, people going? Are we going to see you there? Are you going to celebration? And if anybody has any questions, again, would love to hear all your comments about the celebration. How does it stack up to celebrations you've been to? What did you think?
So we've got a few questions and comments in here. Is Andrew was saying that before, when he mentioned Angus McGinnis, he thought you were just talking about people in general, but at Anaheim, his favorite was Emily Swallow, who just absolutely took a ton of time with everyone in the line, and was absolutely great.
How did her line move? Was it a long line?
It was pretty. It was a long line for someone as new to the franchise as Emily Swallow.
Gotcha.
It was, but it was very similar to how long the line was for Tamora Morrison, because of how much time Tamora took with absolutely every person who came into the line.
That's it. And we talked about kind of the formula for how they figure out how many tickets they can sell for each autograph based on allotting a certain amount of time for each patron, each person with an autograph ticket. You know, they kind of have that kind of minute that they kind of expect, and they use that as the formula. But you have I mean, the show was called The Book of Boba Fett. He's Boba Fett. He's got a ton of people waiting to meet him. This is the way. I mean, she's got the the catchphrase from The Mandalorian, and she's amazing. You guys have seen her on, I think we've had her as a guest. She's a great friend of Virtual Cantina and what we're doing. It's great if you have that balance. So if you get time to meet them, some time to spend at the table, but you haven't spent your whole day in line with them. So there's a balance. Because it does, when you're in line, it's an economy. You have 4 days to do everything you need to do. And you spend a lot of time in lines. And sometimes people like, maybe they already have that autograph. Like, all right, I've already met her. I just want the autograph. And that happens too, but really at Celebration, it's people that want to meet the actor. And
Absolutely is that's why I myself, there's some that I have to do through send-ins and getting other people to do it, but I am much more of a fan of waiting in the line and getting that autograph in person. For many people, I don't know that I would bother to get their autograph if I wasn't doing it in person.
Yeah, well, that's really the best case scenario. We talk about this on the podcast all the time. Is the autograph, that piece of paper, whatever it is, it's just a memento of that time that you spent with somebody who brought Star Wars to life, that made it happen. Whatever, behind the camera, in front of the camera, writers, whatever, they helped to make Star Wars happen. And that autograph is just, I remember that time that I was there and I got to talk to them, even if it was for 3 seconds. We just had that briefest of interactions, but it happened. And here's the proof of it. And that's really why a lot of people, we get into it, and why we continue to do it. And everything else is, like I said, some autographs you can't get in person, but when you can, there's nothing better.
Well, a few other questions here. Jeff is asking that, not particularly a collecting question, but since he knows that you've volunteered for several celebrations, who is your favorite person to work with in the autograph hall? Lots of tough questions this evening.
That's good. I love it. Thank you for bringing a question. I appreciate that. It's always better to be able to, talk and get your feedback and hear your thoughts. Any questions? I think my favorite was Kat Tabor. I really had a great time with her at C5. I know, probably not. So Padme Amidala in the Clone Wars, she was just just a sweetheart and a great time. So probably my favorite celebration one.
And Ashley, we've got like 2/3 of the cast of our next show, which is the Rebels Revisited show. 2/3 of them in the chat here with us tonight. Ashley's asking,
Ashley,
if you could have anything signed by anyone from Star Wars, what would you have signed and who would it be from? I assume this also, means the unattainable, the props or the pieces or the things.
So can the person be one with the Force, or do they have to be among the living? Has that?
I would assume that it opens it to that as well.
Okay. I don't. So this is very specific, and I don't collect. I collect. So I have lightsabers. I have one. Well, I have a couple. I have Obi-Wan lightsabers. I guess Alec Guinness on an Obi-Wan saber would be. I don't know where we would sign up. I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool. Like a prop, a screen used. Yeah, I like that question.
Absolutely. And this we will probably cover a little bit more as we go along and get closer to London. And this is the question that everyone asks and everyone hears, and I'll go ahead and say it, and you don't even have to answer it and acknowledge it. But Jeff is asking, what are the odds, and what are you thinking that Mr. Hamill may make an appearance in London?
I am going to answer that by saying, folks who love Celebration, love Autograph Hall, love getting autographs, just autographs in general, but you love autographs. You're going to London. You're already planning how much money you're going to spend at Autograph Hall. If you have not already, go to Official Picks and go to their Facebook pages and join the group. Like, as soon as we wrap up, go do that. Because Ben Stevens, who owner of Official Picks, he's done 2 polls back to back. Who would you like to see at Celebration? Other than Mark. Mark's a given. We all want Mark there. Personally, I don't think that, I wouldn't be surprised if he was there. I would never be surprised if Mark came for a Celebration. I expect his autograph to be $500 ish, at least the 300 that you win, but probably more than that. So plan on that. I think Spencer and I talked about this. Like, have that $500 Mark Hamill autograph money set aside, and then if he doesn't come, you have it for other things. But he's going to be expensive. If you want to meet him, it's going to be pricey. I never think and have never thought Mark he would never come to the Celebration. I think every Celebration is a possibility. And I think London is, this isn't from knowing Ben. I think he was in Germany. He's been on another London. So it's on the table. We'll just have to see.
Excellent. I think that kind of wraps up all the questions that we have for this evening. So if you want to just kind of go ahead and give us our wrap up and preview anything you want to preview and talk about, like, what idea maybe that you might be, what kind of subject matter you'd be talking about on our next Celebrating Autographs.
I'd like to hear from people too. If you tuned in tonight, and if you tuned into the lead up to Anaheim, if there's things that you specifically would like me to cover, I would love to hear your feedback. Send that to me, either post it here or send me a message on Facebook, and let me know if there's specific things you'd like to talk about. We'll certainly be talking about guests as they're announced, autographs, opportunities throughout Celebration, not just Autograph Hall, of course, but any opportunities. And of course, Boom to Eve will have updates that we'll talk about as we're ready to announce who we're going to get for at the show. I feel like we talked a lot about the basics of preparing for Celebration when it comes to autographs, things that you should buy, things that you should have, ways to keep your autographs safe. I don't want to do the same exact show that we did last time. but there's also some, I think, for collectors and celebration attendees, some essential information that we covered in those episodes. So if there's things you'd like me to talk about again, elaborate upon, or look at it in a different way, because we could still be a show. So we're going to do this day. We said the second Monday of every month.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to do this leading right up to April. We could still be a month or two from celebration guests, or we could get one tomorrow. We don't know, but it could be that we don't have any guests to talk about in February. It's possible. Hopefully not, but it's possible. So I would love to get your feedback and things that you'd like to talk about and discuss. So don't be shy.
And everybody that's not watching this show live, we do monitor the comments on the not so much the Facebook, but definitely the comments on the YouTube feed. If you're watching this on the Virtual Cantina network on YouTube, we can forward those and compile those questions and get them to Frank and those suggestions for future episodes. And as always, there is an entire Celebrating Autographs playlist that very shortly this episode will be placed in. Check out the other ones, the episodes that Frank was talking about that talk about what kind of pins you may want to use, what kind of autograph protection, what kind of portfolios and things you want to transport those 8x10s and posters and whatnot in. So go ahead and check out those other episodes, and they may lead you to more questions that you're going to want to give us for the next time.
That's a good thing about those is even though we're talking about Anaheim, it's going to apply to, any celebration, the materials, the things that you need just logistically to keep your autograph safe. But of course, for a lot of you watching, I'm sure a lot of people watching are US based. And you're going to add a flight into the mix, an overseas flight and customs and things like that. So if we want, we can talk about things like that as well. Other considerations that we might not have, as for US based attendees didn't have to deal with before. So definitely. And Dave, thank you so much for everything that you do to make this show look so great, and getting the questions in, and just fantastic. I appreciate everything that you do and your professionalism, and just a great person to work with. So thank you for what you do. I really appreciate it.
Very welcome.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Yeah, we'll do this again in February. We'll have second Monday in February. Thank you all for your support at Virtual Cantina, the network. And again, those of you who came out to Bunta, those of you who bought tickets for Bunta in London, thank you so much. And for those of you who came over from Star Wars Autograph News, thank you guys. I love you guys so much. The support you've showed me over the last 10 years it's meant so much to me. And you guys know the last 6 months or so have been tough. I haven't been doing as much as I'd like to, or I haven't been in the past. So having the podcast a few weeks ago and getting the show back up here for Celebrating Autographs means a lot, and as does your support. So thank you all very much. And as always, may the force be with you.